What's up guys, edrone here, and today we're going to be doing the final build video on my Reverb build, installing the TBS Crossfire Nano receiver. Stay tuned. Installing this receiver is going to be pretty straightforward. So we need a ground pad, which is right here. We need a 5-volt pad, which is conveniently right here. We need a TX and a RX pad on the same UART. We have RX4 here and TX4 there. And these are conveniently on the back of the flight controller, so we'll be able to run the wires straight out the back where the receiver is going to be mounted. On the receiver itself, put the RX of the receiver to the TX of the flight controller, and vice versa for the TX of the receiver to the RX of the flight controller. So it's going to be basically 4 wires soldered up. In the receiver, you get the receiver itself. This is the TBS Crossfire Nano. You get the heat shrink with your wires. Go ahead and solder it up. This one is the SE, which comes with the Immortal T antenna that we'll go ahead and install on there as well. And it comes with a little 4-pin connector in case you're using a servo cable to go ahead and mount this guy. Taking a look at the receiver, you'll see we have 4 pads here on the left. You have your ground, 5-volt, 1 and 2. So pin 1 is going to be the transmit, and pin 2 is going to be the receive for this receiver here. And we're going to put the TX onto the RX of the flight controller and the RX to the TX of the flight controller. And pre-tin these pads. Go ahead and get the wire soldered on. Got our receiver all wired up to the flight controller, and now we go ahead and just give these wires a little twist, make them look a little neater looking. And now what we need to do, we need to go ahead and attach the TBS Immortal T antenna. Now TBS recommends that we flip the receiver this way, mount the Immortal T this way, and then run the heat shrink over to give a little more support so it's not kind of hanging off the end. So we should definitely still have plenty of wire to do it like this. So before we can connect the Immortal T to the receiver, we need to feed it through this little 3D printed mount here. So we need to open up the back, feed in the wire, and go ahead and feed in the Immortal T antenna like so. Push the UFL onto the receiver. Go ahead and push down like so. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to spin this and put our heat shrink on this way. And that's going to give us a little more support on that wire over top of the receiver like this. And you can use a heat gun, a lighter, torch. You won't put too much heat on it, so I'm going to use this hair dryer here and go ahead and heat this up till it shrinks back on there. Hey, we've got the receiver all installed. We got the heat shrink on there. You can see we have a nice good connection. I'm going to be mounting the receiver kind of underneath of here in the build itself. I don't want to put a lot of strain on this wire, so it's going to rest up right underneath this capacitor right nice. Alright, we got the build all together, and that's going to be it. This is the final build video. You can see what it's going to look like all put together. Just got to put the props on, and you see the Immortal T hanging off the back there below the prop line. I think it's a very clean looking build. I'm very excited to get this thing in the air, and plenty of room to put everything in the build itself. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And in the next videos, we'll be doing the journey to Crossfire, getting it bound up, and get everything all set up. Till next time, edrone out.